Wow, that just abruptly ends, doesn't it? One of these days, I'm going to work on getting some kind of introduction video. I've been doing live streams for criminy 5 years now. And you would think with all the different platforms and tools and all the other things that I do that I would zhuzh things up um like like you would expect a veteran live streamer to do. But well, friends, it is Tuesday night, and it is time for another installment of the Mike Seibert Radio uh, podcast live stream. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Very impromptu styly. This is the first of two shows that I'm going to be doing this week. Tonight, I'm going to show off some toys and tell some stories and talk about CybFest. And coming up on Thursday, whatever date that is, that would be the 31st. Holy mackerel, the last day of July. I can't believe that July is almost over, and that means that summer is almost over. I was listening to I was watching the TV news the other day, and there was the meteorologist. I don't remember who it was, but somebody started talking about like the dog days of summer. And I'm like, 4th of July was last week. What are we doing? But then I realized that yeah, summer's almost over. So I hope you are having a terrific summer. I am spending part of my summer locked up in an incredibly hot studio room. I tried turning on a fan earlier, and the noise is just too oppressive. So I'm just gonna sit here and suffer. I got a tankard of water. Life is good. But I guess some housekeeping stuff right off the bat. I've so this show's probably about 2 weeks late. And that's for a number of different reasons. I guess let me kind of go back in time a little bit to a time before CybFest Northwest on which happened back on July 12th, which again just seems like an eternity ago. Um I going into CybFest this year, I had a very different mindset and a very different motivation than times past. The last couple shows, I've had a table. I've whereas as a member of the media, meet folks, be available for folks to come meet me, hand out some buttons, and just kind of headquartered. And I sold some toys also. Managed to find some overstock. But what I've discovered the last few years of tabling at CybFest is that I really miss out on the show and visiting with people. And sure, maybe commerce, buying stuff, looking at stuff. I like to browse. Like I'm, I'll go into a used bookstore and just be there all day, just browsing. Same thing with like antique stores, toy stores, things of that nature, comic shops. But yeah, I just like to look, and I like to socialize, and I like to hang out. And I felt like I had kind of been missing that on the day of CyFest the last couple of years. So had a conversation with the organization team, and I opted not to have a table. Instead, I had a backpack, and I was just mobile, and I thought that worked out incredibly well. This was the most fun I had at CybFest Northwest in years. And it was entirely because I was able to reconnect with the community and visit with folks and hang out and not be on the hook for hosting panels. Really, like I hung out with my buddy Chandler for most of the day, and it was kind of like a revelation of like, well, don't you have like panels to do? I'm like, no, dude, I got nothing to do. I'm just here for hang and vibes. So yeah, so that was again a welcome change. I had kind of for ironically enough, as low key as it was, I did have a whirlwind day, Saturday, the 12th for, CybFest Northwest. I got there, relatively early. I think doors open at 10. I got there at like 10:30. So still like a half hour before 11 before, uh, general admission was able to come in. So I still did get in early. And it was even interesting then, just like in that 30 minutes, that half hour, how quickly stuff sold out and how much sales and commerce and friendship was being done just in that half hour before even general admission started. But I had the thing that's funny about going to conventions is you need to have a little bit of a plan. I would never recommend to go to any kind of fan convention with no plan. You can have loose plans, tight plans, but be prepared to throw those plans out at any given time. And I had a number of things going on. Uh, my wife, Lucky, was out of town, and so which meant I had some responsibilities at home. And I had kind of planned for that. And as I said up top, sometimes you got to be ready to throw those plans out, and be adaptable and be flexible and go with the flow. And so I had intended on leaving Cybfest early. Like I was gonna leave, I was gonna go home, I was gonna feed the cats, take care of the outside critters and animals like we've got like raccoons and outside kitties and a menagerie of various animals and creatures that come to visit us that we take care of, put fresh water out and food and whatnot. So I ended up staying longer than I was anticipating. All in the name of friendship, which was terrific. And I ended up staying for the entirety of Sidefest, all day. Then, went out to dinner with dear friends, fabulous fan artist, Paulo, who was tabling at Cybfest, and then my buddy Chandler. So the 3 of us, went to dinner, and, after that, me and Chandler went to go see Superman. And and that was terrific. I was like, I got home at, I mean, like the movie was at 7. I probably got home around 11. Took care of the cats and the creatures and all of that, but like I was toast. Like it was a long day. But then the following day, Sunday, I had a work event. I went out to the Bremerton Air Show, which is a air show at the Bremerton Airport here in the Seattle area, and um and I stayed there all day. I signed up for a double shift, knowing that Lucky was out of town, and that I could help out my friends at work. And quite frankly, I just wanted to watch the air show. I had gone last year in 2024, had a great time. Um I don't have a whole lot to say about the air show this time, other than it wasn't super great. It certainly wasn't as good as it was the last year. I was a little bit disappointed. But since I had signed up for a double shift, we couldn't start breaking down the tent until 5 o'clock when the air show finished, and um and the other vendors, dealers started breaking down as well. So and that was a little bit of a process, and I didn't get home until, oh gosh, 7, something like that, maybe even a little bit later. And I I started going into decline about midday Sunday. So it was a hot day. The sun was out, not a cloud in the sky. A perfect perfect day to watch an air show. But it was hot. It was like, 80 plus degrees. But being at the air show, it's about 10 degrees hotter out there on the tarmac. So I was getting cooked. I drank 6 bottles of water throughout the entire day. And but because of how long my day was on Saturday at CybFest, and to do back to back all days where I'm just basically like standing and talking, my battery was depleted, both physically, mentally, and socially. Like, I mean, I think like for the last hour I was there at the air show, I was like pretty much non-responsive and just really kind of like trying to hang on. Like I knew I needed to eat, but I didn't have appetite, so it's like I got lunch and ended up only eating like 2/3 of it, just because like I wasn't hungry, but I knew I was like, exhausted and weak. And it's a weird feeling when you go beyond your limit, like physically and mentally. Um, and the thing that I've discovered as my beard and my hair has gotten more and more gray, that I just don't have endurance the way that I used to. Like I'm all willpower. Like I'll go and go and go and go until I can't go no more. And that's always been my problem. Like, I've talked about on this podcast where I used to do like 3 days of Emerald City Comic Con, that kind of thing. Um Obviously, I've told the story famously about how I thought it would be a fun idea one year, to work at work, then go to Emerald City Comic Con Friday night. I mean, or sorry, Friday afternoon after I got off work, then host Crackle Fest at the Hard Rock Cafe Friday night after working, after going to the convention, and then flying out the next morning to go to TFCon LA. Terrible idea. And it was the same thing. Like I've learned this lesson 6 years ago, that like there's only so far I can push myself before the wheels fall off, and I don't realize it. I'm not even cognizant of it. I was talking to Michael Andrews, my co-host for Two Mics Too Furious, and like he he was as polite as he could be, but he was kind of like, well, yeah, I kind of had the feeling something like that was going to happen. Long story short, a 10 plus minute story to say that basically after Sunday, I I was under the weather. I got sick. And like it took me, gosh, a week and a half to shake it off. Like I think just now this week, it's Tuesday now. I think now I'm about a half a week into feeling good and feeling better. But like even up until like, oh shoot, I don't know, Wednesday of last week, I was still like I would still have like sniffies, and I I think with me it was also like a variety of different things. I was playing like symptom roulette. Like, I started off with like, muscle fatigue, but then I started getting like cold symptoms, which I mistook for allergies, but then mistook for cold and flu symptoms, and then became allergies again. So it's like I don't even know what was what. But it would be like one day I would be sniffy, one day I would have sore throat, next day I would have muscle aches, and it would just be like this like whole developing thing. So for like the past 2 weeks, I've been in varying stages of being under the weather. So if I haven't gotten back to you about any number of things, I apologize. I've been trying to participate on social media, but not with the vigor that I'm used to. But anyway, I think so. This week I'm kind of back on schedule, and Lucky gave me the suggestion because like I I may talk about this later, but like um I mentioned that I chatted with Michael Andrews. about some upcoming Two Mikes, Two Furious stuff. Stand by for announcements on that. I cannot reveal what is coming. You're just gonna have to subscribe to the Two Mikes, Two Furious feed and follow us on those social channels to see what we got up our sleeves. I think you're gonna like it, but I cannot tell you what's coming. But in that conversation, I kind of like had what I would almost consider like a meltdown. Like I not necessarily a meltdown, but basically like I had a spike in anxiety of like all of this content I wanted to create. I'm like, "Oh man, I got like all these cool toys I got from CybFest. I got all these cool stories I want to tell. And also I want to like talk about these movies and I want to do this, that and the other thing." And I talked to Michael Andrews and it's like he's looking out for me. He is like, "You know what? It sounds like you just need to go recharge and like take the time that you need, recharge your batteries and then come back to the table with all of this stuff that you want to do." So fast forward to this week, I and this morning actually, there's a reason why you got no notice about this live stream because it came up with it this morning. I go to Lucky, basically executive producer of of Mike Seibert Radio. But I ask her, I was like, "Hey man, I got all this stuff I want to talk about." And it's like, at what point do I start letting stuff go? And she gives me the suggestion. She's like, "Well, what are you doing Tuesday after work?" I'm like, "I don't know." Yeah, and then I start thinking, I'm like, "Well, I could get ready for this other show that I want to do." And she, supportingly says like, "Well, just do it tonight." I'm like, "Oh, that's a good idea. Mayor, I could be mayor." So basically what we're going to do is I promise you I will show you some toys. It's coming. But it's been a while since we've hung out. And so tonight I'm going to talk about CybFest, do a little bit of a recap, and show off some toys, tell some fun stories, and go from there. I think I will have some opinions and talk about a little bit about um some of the San Diego Comic-Con reveals. There was some stuff there that I think will be relevant to some of the stuff that I show and some stuff that I want to talk about that I hope you'll dig. But then yeah, that'll be kind of it for tonight. And then coming up on Thursday, it is Superman and the Fantastic Four. I have seen both movies, and I will talk to you about how those movies are kind of a kind, and kind of they have a lot of similarities. Hope Core is, I think, the new Grimdark. Superhero movies with bright optimism, I think, are back in style, which I'm incredibly excited about. So I'll talk about those more, and I will probably talk about other movies I've seen. I've seen quite a lot of see that Jurassic World Rebirth, saw the F1, and just last night I got to see an advanced screening of The Naked Gun, and it's a lot of fun. The social embargo has lifted, the review embargo has not. So I think I can say on a live stream that I liked it quite a lot, and um I liked it way more than I was anticipating. It was the reboot that I never thought I wanted, but I'm glad that we got. And if you look at even some of like the marketing, um, big box comedies are back. And I think it strikes the tone perfectly. It is delightfully stupid. But I was laughing the entire time. Like at one point my sides were aching and I may have shed a couple tears. It was a lot of fun. So I may talk about that a little more in depth on Thursday when I talk about the superhero movies. And maybe Thursday will be a bigger show with like some like media stuff. Because I know a lot of folks have been asking me what I thought about Superman, what I thought about Fantastic Four, and then as well as other stuff as well. So I think that will be fun as well. I also, speaking of upcoming things, I was just listening to the latest episode of Autopod Decepticast this morning, and they published on Sunday, I think, and I heard that they were talking about um the they're doing they did a GI Joe episode from the Deke series. And they were talking about, well, the reason why we're doing this is because there was a scheduling snafu with our other guests, and we're going to be talking with our guests in August, and we'll be talking about the coming of the Fusors. And it's like, well, I can't reveal who the guests are, but it's like two bikes, two Beerius or something like that. And I'm listening in my headphones and I'm like, what, is that me? Are they talking about us? So I texted Michael Anderson. I'm just like, I'm like, are we going to be on Autopod Decepticast? This is how I find out. But no, actually, it was a group text. Like I have like I don't know how the storage is set up on my phone, but like after like 20 texts, it just rolls off. I don't know if it's like 20 in general or 20 in a day. I don't know how the limits work, but what I know is that there were old texts, and then like I jumped in like halfway through the conversation where they were talking about like the date and why that wouldn't work, and we were going to shoot for in August. I was like, okay, cool. And I again, it just threw me the hell off when I was listening to the show, and then come to find out that some of the scheduling got moved around because apparently I wasn't available. Anyway, so like that was pretty funny. So I think we have a date set for that recording. But since they teased it, you're another opportunity to listen to the two mics will be on we're talking about season 2, maybe episode 2 or 3, something about the coming of the Fusors. I have no idea what the hell a Fusor is and why they're coming. But that should be a lot of fun. The last time I've talked to the APDC guys was when they were guests on Two Mics Too Furious. So it's going to be really cool to return the favor and go back to our show, especially with me and Michael Andrews together, something we haven't done since we talked about Headmasters, maybe like 2 years ago. Oh, hey, look at that. Michael Andrews in the chat. All caps, surprise, exclamation point. I love it. But yeah, no, that's going to be a lot of fun. Again, I love kicking it with the APDC guys. And let me see. Let me go to their website and see what is up. So that is in episode 252 : the Jopisode : the Greatest Evil Part 1. Get Your Deke, in which they cover a episode from season 2 of the 1991 Deke G.I. Joe series. So I just started listening this morning, and it's been a ton of fun so far. So Michael Andrews again in the chat. Fusor, I hardly knew, or I love that we're already starting with the ER jokes. So anyway, so that's a little taste of what is coming up. Let's talk about CybFest a little bit. So as I said, CybFest Northwest 2025 happened back on July 12th, 2025 at the Kent Commons Community Center. I It's the 3rd year in a row, I think, where we had the, full gym, and basically where the show is at now is, like, we're kind of at a weird, precipice. Like, we haven't quite outgrown the commons yet, but we're darn close. Um, but also we haven't grown enough to warrant a multiple day show. It's a terrific one-day show. It's a big little show. It's a little big show. Um, there are between panels and contests and all of that to keep you occupied all day. Currently, there isn't structure enough for more than one day. Basically, by the time you get to the end of the day, you've bought all the robot toys you care to find. You've either found your grails or you haven't. Um, Unfortunately, I found literally nothing for Michael Andrews this year. Like, I'm constantly on the lookout for a Transformers animated Snarl, loose and complete. I still found that same one on card. It's $5 more now. It's $45. One of these days, I think I'm just gonna buy it and tear it open and not tell him, and just send it to him and say, "Oh no, I found this one loose. I don't know," but I found so many snarls on card, but I have not found one loose. So I didn't find one of those. I didn't find a rescue ratchet. I didn't find any activators. Stuff I'm keeping an eye on. He wanted a oh god, was it like a it's a side swipe of some kind, a scan series, I think. Anyway, I couldn't find any. I asked around too, because like I would see like bins with like a bunch of like Baver stuff, and I'm like, "Do you guys scan sideswipe in there?" No. I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'm not even gonna look." Ugh. But anyway, um, but yeah, no, it was interesting, the mix of dealers. A lot of terrific artists, a lot of folks selling personal collections, and a lot of friends. Like that's what I believe makes CybFest Northwest stand out from other conventions of a kind. I've talked before about how it's my opinion that TFCon has grown too big. Obviously, it's still independent. It's obviously still run by fans, so it has that kind of DIY punk rock sensibility to it. But it's like this close to being corporate, just in terms of like how polished and organized and just how the entire presentation is. Whereas Cypfest, we still kind of have like that kind of like scrappy. This is a convention put on by 5 people, type of vibe to it, which really appeals to me. But as I said, it's I had a terrific time. Got to connect with a lot of friends, and that's always fun. But there were a couple individual things I wanted to call out before I really kind of got into the toys. I'm stalling while I'm trying to pick around the Cypfest website looking for the schedule, just so that I have something to kind of go off of here. Um, the coloring contest was a lot of fun. It was a Transformers animated piece. I don't have it here to share, but I did grab one, and Mason did a terrific job on it. It's like you've got like a animated Blitzwing and RC and a couple other folks in there. That was a ton of fun. But like one of the things that I really enjoy about the coloring contest, and I haven't talked about this in previous shows, I don't think. I keep meaning to ask Whirl about it because they do a terrific job on judging it. Um, it's not just about like the artistic talent. What we encourage folks to do is tell a story also. And so, like, a lot of the kids, and again, one of the things that's terrific about CybFest is that it is incredibly family friendly, and it's very kid friendly. Like there's a kids play area with junker toys for them to play with, and even like the dealers are very family friendly, have stuff for the kids, and it's terrific. But like the thing that I really enjoy about the coloring contest is that um these kids are so creative and so imaginative. The stories and tapestries and all these things that they create that go with um their coloring submission. So that was a ton of fun. I always like kind of being on a fly on the wall for that. Trivia was awesome. Like I didn't sit in there for very long, but I just kind of like did like a temperature vibe check, and it's man, Ben and Jason run an incredible trivia. It's always a lot of fun. Um, but as far as panels, I I got to sit in for a couple minutes for the voice actor Q&A panel with our special guests, Jason Conopisos Alvarez and Frank Todaro. And that was fun because like they've this isn't the first convention that they've done together. They were actually just at San Diego Comic-Con together in like the Symbiote Studios booth doing stuff as well. So they've got a pretty established rapport as a duo. So it was really fun to kind of see them riff on each other in a Q&A standpoint. But the thing that was I wish I had stuck around for this more. They there was a Transformers D&D panel hosted by our friends at Swerve's Bar. And again, shout out to those folks. Like they are awesome. And the partnership that they've done with CybFest Northwest as um their empire, I guess, continues to grow because like, expanding into more content, podcasts, videos, merch, like there's Swerve's Bar has become like an entire damn thing. And I'm so proud of all the success that they've had. Like, they've had like so many terrific celebrity voice actor guests on their show, and they've built an incredible reputation in the fandom. And it's great that they're excited to come up to Cybfest and be a part of our show. But I was going to say the highlight panel was the Transformers D&D. And so you've got Frank, you've got Jason, along with Onyx and Kilobyte and Clickbait and Heximus, and like it was fun. Like Frank dips into all these voices, and it was just buck wild. It was a ton of fun. I wish I had sat for the whole thing. Instead, again, as I said, just kind of did a vibe check. The other panel that I was eager to check out, because this is one that had been a long time coming. Ben hosted a Transformers video game panel, and this was for a canceled video game that was fully licensed by Hasbro. And let me see if I think I'm not going to get in trouble. So if I do get in trouble, I apologize. Basically, the Ben has a friend who worked for the company that worked on the game. So as such, he's had access to materials pertaining to the game that have been locked under NDA for a number of years. And now those NDAs have lapsed, and there was opportunity and communication. Ben's been working on this for years, to be able to present this material, concept art, and story and other things pertaining to this game. The game in question was called Transformers Heavy Metal. And basically what it was, and I'm looking at the description on the website because it doesn't have the name of the game. And I think that was, again, to entice people to want to come to the panel. Um, because of the content, there was no photography, there was no video, no recording whatsoever. I didn't record any audio for it was basically like you can experience this live. And that's the only way Hasbro bought off on or gave their blessing to this material being presented. But basically, um, the game was called Transformers Heavy Metal, and it was a augmented reality game, very similar to Pokemon Go. And so that could give you a clue as to how far back in development this game went. Um, I don't have the story, and it's a little unclear why the game didn't go forward. But Ben was able to show some concept art, and it's interesting when you look at something like that was like in long gestating development and then ends up not happening. Um, for my taste, a lot of the game was kind of like of its time, where it's like the designs are kind of like G1 adjacent. They're kind of like evergreen design adjacent, but not entirely. Still kind of doing its own thing, still kind of stylized. Um, there is some concept art that is available online. So if you just do a Google search for Transformers Heavy Metal, you can learn a little bit about what this game was and what it could have been, and see some of that art that has been allowed to be released. But we got to see like so much more of it. We like we got to see like concepts of what the gameplay would have looked like, as well as a lot of character designs and some really creative, interesting stuff, and stuff that I would say um, ended up being used later on in other iterations there's like one specific toy that, if you see me in person, I could probably tell you. I'm not gonna say it here on the live stream, just in case, because I think I'm already flying a little too close to the sun. But like there was one specific character and one specific color scheme where I'm like, wait, that's a figure I just bought. So, like, on Two Mics Too Furious, we often talk a lot about how nothing is wasted. And to see a concept art for a abandoned video game or a canceled video game that ends up in color and vibe and style, which was not what that character looked like at that particular time, end up being in toy form was kind of interesting. And then we closed out the show, of course, with the organizer roundtable, which is always fun. It's one of the things that's so awesome about CybFest Northwest is that the organization team is super transparent, and like it's important to have that organizer roundtable, ask questions, answer questions, and kind of get a creative sense of what works, what doesn't. Because, like, if we're just running around on the floor, we don't know what works for you. Are the aisles too narrow? Are they too wide? Is there too much crowding in this spot? Like, if you ask people to tell you stuff, they'll tell you stuff. So I always enjoy the opportunity for the organizer roundtable. So um the raffle was awesome as well. I feel like the raffle is kind of like the climax of CybFest. Basically, like um uh, dealers and fans donate various things to be submitted into the raffle. And it gets pretty rowdy towards the end because basically there's so much stuff on the table. There's so many tickets put into stuff, but it's I don't know. It's just a very it has like a live auction type of vibe to it. Lots of cool stuff going to new homes, and it's so much fun. But the thing that I thought was especially rad this year is for their day job, Whirl works for Code Ninjas, and Code Ninjas is a affiliate with Extra Life. Now, Whirl has done, live streams for, Extra Life. In fact, coming up, November-ish, they will be doing like a 24-hour, live stream thing, and I will come on in the middle of the night, like I have the, last few years, and, like, do, like, talk segments and things like that to, just kinda give a break to the team there. My point being is now, through this partnership, for the first time that I could recall, there was an actual charitable outreach type of thing with benefiting Seattle Children's Hospital. And this was I forget how World described it, but basically like it was just basically like a junk table and you just like throw stuff on there. But what would happen is like folks were throwing like great stuff on there. Not just I mean, I use junk as a pejorative, but there were a lot of, like, really cool items on there. Like, one thing in particular that was just striking was, Mahalo Mike had donated a, it's a KO MP10. I think his name is, like, Lewin or something like that, but basically, it's the you may have seen pictures of it. It's MP10 Optimus Prime styled as Captain America. So it's like, it's mostly blue with some red accents, and he's, got a Captain America shield. But what those pictures don't tell you is that that figure is 2.5 feet tall. And it's like all die cast parts. I mean, like the thing has got heft to it. You could kill a man with this. And the Captain America shield that comes with it is all die cast or some other type of metal. I mean, like the thing is heavy. So this thing was like imposing and impressive. And it was set up as a silent auction. And Jake ended up having the winning bid, and I think the total tally was 400 something like that. Let me see if I can find that here. You would think it would help if I had some of this, if I had some of this ready to go already, but I'm gonna do some light screen sharing here. I didn't know if I was gonna do some, screen sharing tonight or not, but anyway, here we are. There's Jake. Huge shout out to, Jake of JB Toys. He won the silent auction benefiting Extra Life and Seattle Children's with a bid of $890. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because like, I was still in when it was, like, sub 500, but, um, uh, this, again, all the cool stuff on the table, but this Lewin figure, this MP10 Optimus Prime figure donated by Mahal Mike is just incredible. But anyway, it was very very cool for CybFest to donate almost $1,000 to Seattle Children's, and that's that's just terrific. That's just incredible. Also, the transforming contest happened. That was hosted by Jamal, and we've talked about the transforming contest in the past, and the um we had revealed in a previous live stream on the lead up to CybFest what the figure for the children's round, the kids transforming contest was Siege Sideswipe. And because, like, I love that mold, and it has such a rudimentary transformation, or an intuitive transformation, that's fun for kids, while also providing just enough challenge. For the adult bracket, which we did not reveal during that live stream, as you might be able to see in this photo, was Voyager class Giaxis and Vector Prime. Those are the same molds. They're just different decos of the same mold. And from what I understand, um, pretty tricky. Apparently that mold is not without challenge. So it made for a fun transforming contest. But so anyway, that was a lot of the stuff that was going on there. As I said, had the opportunity to connect with a lot of friends. Um, our friend and Two Mikes Two Furious guest Abby came up and joined us for the show, so it was really cool hanging out with her and give her a Two Mikes Two Furious button. And uh, she picked up some comics and some other cool stuff. um, and yeah, it was just, as I said, just a terrific, terrific time. Um, I'm gonna try one more time to see if I can find that artwork for the coloring contest, but I don't think I will be able to. It's so funny. I crack myself up when I do these live streams. Oh, it is here. Okay, great. All right, cool. All right, I'm gonna do a screen share here. But let me finish my thought. I was just gonna say it's so funny doing these live streams where basically, like, I have nobody to lean on. So I just have to kind of like talk and ramble and fill the air, and and it's there ain't nothing like it. It is a lot of fun, but it is not without challenge sometimes. So anyway, so this art was done by Mason, and he mentions that he's going to perhaps drop a color version soon. But as you can see, um, there's a animated Starscream, Shockwave slash Long Arm, and of course my dude Soundwave and Laserbeak. Just an incredibly fun piece. Now, as I said, we judged the coloring contest. World judged the coloring contest, and we talked about storytelling. And just happened to see that Alexa's entry is took a photograph of that. I don't think I'm going to be able to read that, but let me take a look. See, maybe. Oh, I can't read that. I can't read that. Only because, well, it's like, well, Mike, what are you saying? No, because my eyes are bad, and this is one, two, three, four pages duct taped together. Um, but it's I remember Whirl read it out loud, and it was a ton of fun. But anyway, like yeah. I didn't bring my reading glasses. So that's as I said, that's kind of basically it for kind of chronological storytelling at CybFest. Would we like to look at some stuff? Because oh, you can see it a little bit. I do have some stuff to share. But I remember though that I started the show almost an hour ago, kind of talking chronologically about before CybFest. I think I want to share some figures that I actually bought before CybFest, and because of stuff I was going to go on to buy at CybFest. Let me explain. I'm just going to show you this box. I I am in more than a number of Facebook fan groups for Transformers. Some are buy sell trade, but I came across postings from a guy named Christopher Young who was selling bits of his collection. He had a lot of stuff, but he had a fair amount of animated figures at what I would consider to be aggressively reasonable prices. And of course, my eyes bug out of my head. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, they've got this and this. Like, had I bought everything from him, I would have had a sizable animated collection. Unfortunately, even at reasonable prices, that stuff adds up. So there was no version of it where I was able to buy, all of them or most of them or whatever. So I was in the spot where I needed to choose. So I asked about a couple figures, and the one that I wanted the most out of that batch was already gone. I was too slow. And I'm like, okay, well, what other ones do I want instead? So I will show you some figures that I got, and um I will talk about the one that got away when it lines up to CybFest stuff. Trust me, it's gonna make sense when we get there. So anyway, so I want to shout this guy out, Christopher Young. He gave me an incredibly good deal and packed the figures with care. They're in terrific condition, and so yeah, I just shout out to that guy. The first figure that I've got, and it's only because it's right here on top. You may have seen it in the thumbnail photo for the for tonight's live stream. Um, I had talked about recently on a Two Mics episode where I missed out on getting this figure. Turns out Monica had it and sold it and didn't know I was even in the market for it. But I have remedied that, and I now have an animated Black Arachnia figure. And this, much like the character herself in Transformers Animated, I gotta say, man, is she hot. Just the way that the figure is proportioned. Again, like, Transformers Animated figures are like a feat of engineering of a feat of engineering. It's like this is spot on to the animation model. It's like, where's all the spider bits? Like she looks like exactly how she does in the show. And I love this bit of light piping in the back. So like depending upon the lighting, that kind of work. No, that's going the wrong direction. But anyway, like this figure is incredible. I wasn't prepared for how impressive she is. Like, it's a great size and an excellent representation of everybody's favorite femme fatale from Transformers Animated. So I'm gonna set her off to the side, and also just because I like the way that she's structured, she does have high heel boots, which help her stand very, very well. This figure is very steady. We continue in this box, and as I said, I technically bought these before CybFest, so I probably should have shown them to you before I got into my official CybFest haul. I ended up opening these on Friday, the Friday night before CybFest after I got off work, as I was watching my Transformers Animated full series Blu-ray, and consume some commentary tracks. Um, that's a different thing that I'm gonna talk about in a different episode, because apparently in the Shout Factory version of the Transformers animated, full series, complete series Blu-ray, it has some commentary tracks, but it doesn't have all the commentary tracks. So now I have to buy a copy of season 2 to get commentaries for Mission Accomplished and, one of the other episodes. So I'm just like, I'm a little sore about that. Let's look at some more toys. And again, I haven't really messed with these since I bought them. So, while Black Arachnia was like in handsome robot mode and ready to go, I also picked up the Cyber Ninja. No, the other one. I got myself an animated Jazz. Now, in as you could see, I he's for packing purposes, he's oh, I don't wanna mess with him too much. He's kind of like half in car mode, kind of sort of in robot mode, but he does have the, his cyber chucks that store as, exhaust pipes, and actually in this, you can see some, those of you watching on the live stream video, of course, you can see Jazz hanging out in there, and much like Black Arachnia, he has, some, that translucence in the back of his head for, light piping. Um, oh, actually, I've already got him, like, half transformed. A lot of ball joints, in this guy. Um, oh, don't take out his Cyberchucks. But okay, fine, I just did. So anyway, yeah, so the Cyberchucks, they're connected on holy mackerel, I didn't know this. Check this out. It's a string, like nylon, like a little length of nylon that connects his cyber nunchucks together, not nunchucks together, and then they just kind of clip back together and then go back into the exhaust pipes. That is very, very cool. I'm really excited to get this figure and to mess around with him more. Now, I mentioned that there was a figure that I wanted that that I wasn't able to get. Oh, by the way, here's a Black Arachnia has a claw machine thing. I don't know where it attaches onto her. I don't know if she just holds it in her hand. But anyway, there's like this retractable claw thing that is. Oh man, I'm gonna start playing with that. Oh, that's got a very satisfying, ratchet to it because it's like a deployable claw on kind of like, Optimus's grapplers, probably emulating when she borrows, his powers, in that one episode that one time. Anyway, I there was a I knew I was gonna get Black Arachnia. There was another figure that he had that I was too slow on. So then I'm starting to look at the other figures. And this figure that I'm about to show you, I didn't know that I wanted. But now that I have him, holy moly. I am incredibly pleased and grateful I was able to pick this hefty boy up. Um Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my friends, folks, got myself a Retgar. And this figure is magnificent. Like it completely evokes the Retgar character model from Transformers Animated. Also got a little bit of all these animated figures have like that light piping thing, it would seem. Um But even with his incredibly large garbage truck backpack, somehow they figured out how to do the counterbalance where it stands. Like, I only gotta, like, mess with him, like, a little bit. It's, it is unreal, how stable this figure is, like, so I believe he's a Voyager class figure, but, like, his hands open and close, and again, light piping, um, terrific likeness. He's big, he's thick, he's bulky. Michael Anders in the chat, "I know him!" exclamation point, which I'm sure would be in the voice of Will Ferrell as Buddy from Elf. I know him. And I remember when we had Alpha Magnus on Two Mics Too Furious, to, tell stories about, meeting Weird Al and what his performance as Wreck-Gar means to him. Um, and even then, he was talking to me about this figure and how hard it is to find and how difficult it is to get him complete. Um, and I remember when Alpha Magnus was talking about this guy, he's like, "Well, if you're looking for him, he's going to be about this much because most figures, most specimens of this figure, most examples, expressions of this figure aren't complete." And he gave us a hint on the podcast about what to watch out for a figure that's complete. And I pull him out of the box and I'm like, "Ooh, golly willikers. Oh, my own Wreck-Gar. I'm good for only one thing, garbage." I was very, very excited to get him. But then I'm playing with him a little bit and I'm like, "Wait a second. I think he's missing something." I think, what was the thing that Alpha Magnus was telling me about that almost all these figures are missing and all of that? Um, there's a little slot in his garbage truck backpack, and when you push it up, he has these. I don't know what I don't even know what the hell these are. Like, I don't know what you do with these laser things. I mean, are they like arm shields, or I don't know what they are, but from what I understand is like these pieces are missing from most loose Retgars, and that's basically like the difference in price. um Alex in the chat here says, "I picked up one of those Wreck-Gars at a recent-ish Nashville BotCon. I didn't realize he was missing a fork until I got home." Well, yeah, and that's the other thing too. So it's like, he's got these other bits here. I know he's kind of mistransformed, but like, he's got like the tines for his garbage truck mode. And these are on springs also. Like, I mean, again, these Transformers figures of the era are like, full of gimmicks, like electronics and things like that. So, like, when I got him out of the box, I was, I was just blown away again by his size, the heft, the fact that he's got like, springy bits and light piping, and like even just like this, sliding mechanism here. Like, I mean, I will talk about it at the end of the show, but like, there's I think part of the reason why I was maybe reluctant to want to get a Retgar is because Age of the Primes is coming. And and I've already got Optimus, I've got Bumblebee, I've got Wasp, I've got Prowl. So I'm kind of all in on Age of the Primes animated figures. What am I gonna do with a vintage Retgar? Like, why do I need that for my collection? But when I, had budget to get another figure and they didn't have the one that I wanted, I was like, shoot, why not? I get a Retgar. And again, I'm so grateful that that I was able to pick him up. Let's go back to the chat. Alex says, "I went back the next day and Transformer Land was nice enough to swap it for the paid price as credit towards a second one that was complete. That's awesome. Transformer Land is terrific. Like I've bought stuff from them before. And yeah, very very reputable, good folks. So yeah, good shout there, and I'm glad you were able to get one that was complete. Um, Michael Andrews, ironically enough, Age of the Primes will never top that head sculpt. And he's so right because like look at this thing. I mean, like that it stepped right off of the screen. Like again, the thing about these figures is like they're mini miracles. Like even just like the shape of his hands and like with like his forearms and things like that. It's like this looks like a Derek J. Wyatt drawing brought to life. It's I mean it is just magnificent and like look at how smooth and clean his legs are. I mean like there's no kibble, there's no paneling. I mean like this man, this figure rocks. I'm just beside myself, and there was a time where I thought, no, I don't need a vintage Retgar. I'll get Age of the Primes. Hell am I smoking? Let's see. Alex, I don't think animated can ever really be beat in another line, and that's absolutely true. Like I love Legacy Optimus. Like he gives me the axe that I want and he's got the proportions that I like. I really really enjoy that figure. I'm really looking forward to Nemesis coming in that 4-pack. Um and Motormaster is a lot of fun. I mean like that mold is fun. And the Bumblebee mode, I'm sorry, the Bumblebee mold is a lot of fun. Like I like Bumblebee fine, but I love Wasp. Like that is the figure that fans have been waiting 15 years for. And it is again just kind of like a minor miracle. But we'll talk about them a little more shortly coming up. Alex, if you have Trashmaster, really the Age of the Primes Retgar isn't going to be impressive. Yeah, and I remember saying at the time when Trashmaster came out that and in fact I think we talked about this on the podcast. Michael Andrews, you could shoot me straight if I'm mistaken, but we speculated that Trashmaster very well could be retooled into Retgar, and sure enough, it's just a new head, and it's fine. But like I don't think the head sculpt is particularly impressive. It's not particularly evocative. Maybe I'll feel different about it in person. Because like I think even in pictures, the Optimus Prime head and the Bumblebee head aren't as impressive because they don't quite capture the animated aesthetic. But where you have a character like Retgar that is so expressive and so vivid and so cartoony and exaggerated that yeah, that's going to be a harder lift. So um I'll leave it there. Now, and ironically enough, I was going to talk about Trashmaster at the end of the show, but I think I've said everything. I'm glad it exists. I'm glad that they're doing it. I'm glad that they are continuing animated representation in the Legacy, now Age of the Primes line. But but man, like again, now that I've got the vintage in hand, I don't know if I'm even gonna get it, honestly. Because I mean, like this is just too cool. And unfortunately, and Michael Andrews made a joke about this um when oh, what did I buy? I don't remember. But anyway, like Michael Andrews put a post up from the Two Mikes Too Furious X account saying that the goal is to make Mike Seibert an animated toy collector. And if I keep picking up examples like Black Arachnia and Jazz and Retgar and Bumblebee that I've already got, yeah, I might start falling hard for this line. It's gonna be a damn problem, and I think it's at a point now with vintage animated that it's at attainable price points. They're not cheap, but they're not, um, unreasonable. Like, again, like, there's a reason like, the guy had, like, a half dozen figures. There's a reason why I only bought 3. Um, there were a couple others that I would have liked to have had. He had a Lockdown, he had a Ratchet, and I'm just like, "Ugh." So, like, I mean, again, but these are the characters that I think have resonated, the most with me of that group. Um, Alex in the chat says, I got the add-on wings for Legacy Animated Optimus because there was a different look than the original. Animated Motor Master looks good in robot mode. Neither really look good as trucks to me. I can agree with that. And but that goes to kind of how hinky the animated cab truck for Animated Optimus is. Like, even like in animation in the show, it looks a little hinky. It looks kind of incomplete, not unlike G1 Optimus. Like, he needs a trailer. He needs like the either like a dump truck trailer or a G1 trailer or the firefighter rig. Um, what I've heard about or what I've seen about like this upgrade kit is like it does all of it. Like, you get Wingblade Optimus, Jetwing Optimus, plus you get like the firefighter trailer, which I think is just magnificent. Like, I almost want to get a second Optimus just so that I can get the upgrade kit for it. And then also, like, they have that same upgrade kit available for Motormaster as well. So seeing like the purple and the gray and the black with like that little accent of green in there, holy moly, that is again a figure that is already phenomenal looking, made even cooler by the upgrade kit. Truly an upgrade, like, as opposed to just add on garbage. Let's see. Alex again in the chat. Age of the Primes Wreck-Gar will probably be a get it if I see it splurge, hopefully target sale, but trying not to pre-order. 1,000,000% there with you, Alex. I would pick it up on sale. I don't know if I'd pay retail for it. I'm certainly not gonna pre-order it, but I'm with you. I think if I saw it on the shelf at Target, there is a magic, a FOMO. I don't know what it is, but there are toys that I will just be like, the Geordie LaForge meme of just like, no, no. But then I see it on shelf and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get that. There's something about one, the jolt of finding something, especially if you weren't looking for it. Um, that's done me wrong a couple times. There's been a couple times that I've picked up toys that I ultimately didn't want. Like, I still have a Bumblebee movie studio series Soundwave, like the one that turns into a hamburger. I don't particularly like that figure, and I really kinda cooled on that aesthetic, but it was one of those things where I'm like, "Oh my god, it's Bumblebee Soundwave, Bumblebee Soundwave," and, so yeah, I bought it on impulse. Um, I remember when the Walmart G2, Toxitron capsule series was out, with Sideway with a, Sideswipe, Lime Swipe, Lemon Swipe, whatever you wanna call them, the yellow one. Anyway, so with them and Dead End and Toxitron and Mirage, and, anyway, there was a time where I found, like, half of that line and bought them in one shot, purely on impulse. Like, I wasn't intending to collect it. Like, I had Sideswipe for my collection, for my Sideswipe collection, but the only reason I bought the other ones is because, like, I got, like, that that uncontrollable FOMO, and I was just feeling impulsive. And I had some extra money in my account, and I'm just like, "We doing this? All right, cool. I'm just gonna buy all these toys." Um, Alex again in the chat. The original animated toys worked better as trucks, a bit more balanced. The legacy version with the hidden bumper wheels aren't hidden enough. Fair point. Maybe I'll consider getting another kit to add to Nemesis for truck mode. See, and that would be fun too, because like I really like what they've done with the color scheme for Nemesis, because like it's I know some folks were complaining about like the hands and the way the teal is overlaid, and that how it's more Scourge than Nemesis, but um, I don't have enough affection or nostalgia for Scourge or Nemesis for that matter, because I know they're different characters, but I don't care. Like you give me an evil animated Optimus, I'm fine with it. I like the black and teal aesthetic. So imagine that upgrade kit for as much as it sings on Motormaster, what that would look like with Nemesis, where it's like black on black with a just a shock of teal to it. That'd be pretty cool. Uh, Alex in the chat, level A assortment SSTF1 B127 on Target clearance got me to buy it. Haven't seen discounted Devastation Prime yet. I saw that Devastation Prime. I picked him up and put him down. He looks impressive in the box. I'm like, wait, what's everybody bitching about? This figure looks fun as hell. But I'm not collecting Devastation. So I don't necessarily need him. Um, and even if he were on clearance, I would probably pass him by. Um, I'm in a weird spot with my collection where it is, especially now that I've drifted into animated, where like it used to be 86 focused, then it became 86 and adjacent focused, then it became 86 and adjacent and all the side swipes. Then it became all of that plus the mismatched weirdos I would find at Ross. Like I have a whole shelf of like clearance dudes. Um Alex, not even Devastation Sideswipe. Yes. And I'm embarrassed to say I pre-ordered him because I didn't want to hunt for him. I didn't want to have a situation like I had with G2 Sideswipe at Walmart. I think if my memory serves that I had an opportunity to pre-order him and I didn't, because oh no, I'll find him in the wild, or I'll find him on sale. Thrill of the hunt and all that stuff. But then that FOMO started kicking in, and so when Armada Wheeljack came out, like I mean, I'm mostly off of pre-orders, but like the ones that I know that I want and that I know that I will pay retail for just because I want them, that's my side swipes. So it's like, so I pre-ordered Armada Wheeljack and I pre-ordered Devastation Sideswipe. But it's funny that you push back a little bit, Alex, on my assertion about how I don't collect Devastation. And it is true. Like I didn't get Optimus and I didn't get the goons, the Elite Seeker and the what do they call them, like ground soldier or whatever, the car. But the thing is though, if I find that on sale, I will definitely get it because God damn it, what was I just talking about? Like I have this shelf of weirdos. Um, I also quietly have a Ramjet collection also. Like I've got Cloud Cover from the G2 set. I also have straight up G2 Generation Selects Ramjet, and I also have Sandstorm, not the triple changer, the concept art version. I guess they call him G2 Sandstorm. But I've got those three mismatched weirdos, and Elite Seeker is a Ramjet. So like he would fit in right in with them. Ironically enough, the one Ramjet I don't have is Ramjet. And again, I made that choice. I'm like, I'm not going to pre-order him. I hope to find him in the wild. Maybe I'll find him on sale. But I've like I said, my collection's out of control because I've just found affection with these mismatched weirdos. Like weird recolors, stuff that I found at discount stores, things in for that. Um, Alex, I went in for the ground, so that was his name, Ground Soldier and Black Seeker on pre-order, but rolled in some Target sale shenanigans. That's smart. Like, get some circle savings, things of that nature. Um, Starry Quill joins the chat here watching on YouTube. I feel that's why I pre-ordered the new Skybite. That figure looks great also. I saw him in Target. I left him. And it was a good thing I did because he sold out like 15 minutes after I pre-ordered. Man, the chat is popping here. Jay Soups, my dude, Josh Powell joins the chat and asks, Mr. S, can you talk about your Lambro obsessions? It seems like the most Transformers collector issue of all time. And I've talked about my Sideswipe collection before, so I mean this may be a truncated version of it. I don't like Sideswipe. Like, he's not my favorite character. In fact, I don't even particularly like him. I think there's not a lot there. Conversely, I feel the same thing about Sunstreaker. Like they're both kind of, their deal is that they're, especially Sunstreaker with the vanity and things like that. But Sideswipe himself is just, kind of a dude. It seems to be that his main character trait is being Sunstreaker's brother, and Sunstreaker has more character than Sideswipe. And also, the guy that had the rocket pack that Optimus needed that one time, that Optimus just straight up yells at him. He's like, "Yo, give me your rocket pack." And sweet Michael Bell as a Sideswipe, he's like, "My rocket pack?" And Optimus, he's like, "Now, motherfucker." It's like, "Give it to me, bitch." Like, it's so funny. It's like he just straight up yells at this dude. But anyway, I mean, I had a G1 Sideswipe, and that transformation is really cool. He's a fun figure, so I don't specifically dislike him, but where my collector obsession comes from with I don't know. I as a pejorative, I've called him Siege Sideswipe, but I can't do that anymore because now we're so far down the line, especially now into Legacy. I don't know. I guess I call him Generation Sideswipe. No, that doesn't work because that would include Thrilling 30, I guess. I don't know. I got to think about it. Anyway, so where this obsession with the Sideswipe mold starts is with the Netflix line, the Netflix War for Cybertron line. And they had a blue Sideswipe called Deep Cover. Not to be confused with Deep Cover, the more famous Sideswipe recolor. And I at that time I wasn't collecting mainline. I think, and I would have to check the chronology. Actually, wow, we're going to get into some origin story stuff here. I promise I'll show you off some more CybFest toys in a bit, but I can't remember the last time I've talked about this, and every live stream is somebody's first show. So, story time with Mike. Because I think Netflix Deep Cover is actually the first domino that gets me into collecting mainline. I don't think Studio Series 86 had started yet. Or if it had, it was like still new. I don't think I had any of those figures yet. I don't remember. I would have to go back and check orders and pictures and tapes and things of that nature. But My favorite color is blue, and this particular shade of blue that Netflix Deep Cover is really spoke to me. It's a vibrant, almost indigo, looking blue. It's not thundercracker blue. It's kind of like its own thing, and the combination of colors really spoke to me between, like, the blue as well as the other, trims and accents, you know, the black head, the chromed out face, and the other light gray accents on him. So he's like, you know, blue, black, gray, in those, proportions. But the thing that, really struck me is that, the, battle damage on it. Now, battle damage in the Siege line is obviously an incredibly controversial topic. Most people hate it. I hate it. Like, I don't care for the space mud, or, like, you know, it just made figures look messy. Like, the only other time I kinda liked it was on Siege Soundwave, where basically they had done, like a spider web cracking on, like, his chest window, and I thought that that was kind of like a cool detail. Like, if you're gonna do battle damage, do something kind of like that. But there was something different about this deep cover that really spoke to me, because, like, he would have, blast marks on him that were matte black, like a different color of black than his head and his hands and the other blacks there. It was, you know, like real carbon scoring, looking thing there. So I like that, but the thing that really got my attention was, instead of like brownish gray space mud on deep cover, like the other figures, it was all silver. So, like, he does have, scuffing on his shins, but it's silver. You know, I mean, it's not chrome, but it's, you know, it's silver instead of, gray or brown. But the detail that really spoke to me the most is there's a thin strip of silver along, like, the front of his bumper, and the way that the paint is kind of splotchy, it looks like I don't know how they do this with layered paint, but, like, it's painted in such a way that it looks like the front of the bumper is skimming off, like the blue is skimming off, revealing the silver underneath. And I just thought that that was, like, an incredible, bit of paint and deco design, and I really wanted it. Like, I must have seen it on Facebook or something, because then my buddy Garrett sees me post about it. He goes to his Walmart, which I think was in Shelton at the time. I think he was living in Shelton, and he's like, Mike, I found deep cover. Do you want it?" And I'm like, yes." And he ships it to me, and ironically enough, to save on shipping, um, I had him take it out of the box, so he put it in a smaller box to save on shipping, and next thing I know, I've got this Netflix deep cover in hand, and he has, like, the smoothest, easiest, most intuitive transformation that I had experienced in a contemporary figure, and the tactile nature of it was so transportative. It reminded me of, I mean, it's more in common with, the Dotson mold, like the way his arms, tuck underneath and you flip out his chest and things like that. But, like, it was transportative. It made me feel like a kid again. Like, it was like such a, like, a weird, visceral, tactile experience. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is what this feels like." And I fell in love with the line, and I fell in love with that mold specifically. And then I don't remember all of uh the stories between behind all of them, but like I spent a period of time with this Netflix deep cover, and then I go to CybFest that particular summer, and somebody's got Tiger Track, the yellow one. Somebody's got deep cover, the real deep cover, the black one. Somebody's got Sideswipe himself. So I left that Cybfest with like 4 Sideswipes or something like that. And then I start looking on eBay. Then I start looking at the groups, and before I know it, I've got all of them. Um, all of them except for one. The one that eluded me was the G2 Sideswipe, which was the Alpha Strike Counterforce. He was packaged in with like not Slam Dance, or maybe it was Slam Dance. He's basically like Skytread, Autobot Skytread, basically. No, Battle Trap. Was it? I don't know. Anyway, it's the plane and the tank that combine into one dude. That's a fun ass figure, also. But I didn't get that figure until like TFCon Chicago 2022, and even then that was like, okay, I'm done, no more. And then Gigawatt comes out, the Back to the Future crossover, and I'm like, look at his legs, look at it, look at his head. It's oh, that's Sideswipe, and it is basically it is Sideswipe with DeLorean parts just grafted onto him. It's not the most successful retool because he doesn't scale with anything. Um, but anyway, like it just became like this obsession thrill of the hunt thing because like with each different one I would pick up, each one was so different. Like in a way that they're in a way that Seekers aren't different. Like, sure, you've got like, Thundercracker, Skywarp, Starscream, Sunstorm, Rainmakers, whoever, but they're all kind of like the same color. But like when you start going from like Sideswipe to Red Alert, you've got like different heads. Some have light bars, some don't. Um, then you get into like somebody like Clampdown who has Sideswipe's head, but he's got a light bar like Red Alert, and you start messing with those things. Even like the G2 Sideswipe, the yellow one, his name's Sideswipe, but he has a Red Alert head. So it's like when you start like consuming these things and you start looking at like, which ones have rifles, which ones just have missiles, what is the paint apps on the missiles? It's like it starts getting into like this weird, bizarre level of minutia that I just found myself like dragged into. And now it's at a point where I've kind of given myself over to it. And I've just like, well, I will continue to buy this as they continue to make new ones. And it's fascinating to track how like the different molding and tooling changes as well. It's like, you'll have, Shattered Glass Sideswipe, which everybody with a brain knew was a pre-tool for Armada Wheeljack. But then Armada Wheeljack comes around and he doesn't have the minicon. It's like, what are we doing? Like, I mean, so there's like little bizarre things in there as well. And again, I don't care about any of these characters. Like I have no nostalgia or affection for Armada. So it's like I could not care less about Wheeljack. I know people are excited about him, but I'm excited about him because he's a Sideswipe. Same with the Shattered Glass version. Like I love that head sculpt, and I love the new tooling and all of that. But like, I still think you could do more. Like for all of the ones in the Siege mold, like G2 Sideswipe, Tiger Track, and Deep Cover, you could do those in the contemporary Lambo mode, the Earth mode, the Sideswipe mode. So I thought, bringing it back to Devastation, I thought for a quarter minute that Devastation Sideswipe was going to be a new mold. I don't know why I thought this, because it's a Target exclusive. So of course it's just going to be a repaint. So of course they put like the headlights on. It doesn't even look very good, I don't think. I don't particularly like the cell shading. I think the paint for the headlights is kind of lame, but I would be interested to see how the reds compare between Kingdom Sideswipe and Devastation Sideswipe. I get the feeling they're slightly different, and I think there's some other different paint apps. I think Kingdom Sideswipe's face is silver, whereas Devastation is white. White face, blue eyes. They've really kind of amped up the paint apps there, but it's that is a little trip down the rabbit hole about how one single figure that you posted on Facebook that you think looks really cool, that your friend finds for you, sends you, and you fall in love, and next thing you know, you're down the rabbit hole of a character you don't even like. So that is my sideswipe story. Let's go back to the chat here. Um, Nathan, thanks for hanging out with us. Sorry for the swears. Nathan writes, I think only the classic Seekers mold has been used more than the Siege Sideswipe mold. And that is very true. I don't have the count in front of me. But I think classic Seekers top out at 22, I think is the count on them. I don't collect that mold, so I don't know for sure, but I know it's been used a lot. And now with Sideswipe, we're at 15. Devastation will be 16. And again, I count Gigawatt in that because he's a sideswipe and everything. He's as much sideswipe as Red Alert is, or as much as Armada Wheeljack is, in my opinion, because there's so much shared tooling. He's got the same thighs, he's got the same hands, and obviously the skeletal structure is all the same. Alex writes, Blue Deep Cover is probably my favorite of that mold, excluding Gigawatt, just because I like blue. Exactly. And that gets back to my thing about, like, I don't even like Sideswipe, but like, I think about like this weird core memory thing. Like, what if Sideswipe was blue? How would I have felt about him then? I don't know. It's interesting, the power of myth that toys can have. Let's go back to J Soups in the chat. Sorry, exclamation point. I just know you love neither Sideswipe nor Lamborghini, so I love that you're so into that mold, exclamation point. Yeah, I mean, and I think it makes for a fun story because, like, I've been at panels before where, like, I remember Big C from Charles from Transmissions. I was on a panel with him and I talked about getting, like, G2 Sideswipe, and it's like I'd been looking for this one. And he looks over to me, he's like, you don't even like Sideswipe. And yeah, it is confounding. And yeah, I mean, I wonder where the legend of Lamborghinis come from, because, like, I mean, I like Lambos just fine. I'm sure there's European luxury vehicles that I might like more, but I like Lambos just fine. I mean, I like every kid in the 5th grade in the 80s, I had like the poster of the Countach on the wall with, like, like the grid space and all that other stuff. Very 80s. And like I've said in other spots as well, speaking of Lambos, I think that Skybound RC would be should be in that Lambo mode as well. Now, how you gonna do that, I don't know, but like that's the magic of comic books. Like, in robot mode, she's 1986 RC, but she has like a Lamborghini. I think it's a Aventador or something, but like she's very much a Lamborghini in Skybound. So of course I think that's how I'm gonna get my pink Lambo, my pink sideswipe. Oh, that's the other thing. I didn't even mention this. I totally completely forgot. And I think I wanna blame either Dan Larson from Secret Galaxy or my buddy Andy, who designed my logo, by the way. Go Andy Robo on Blue Sky. Anyway, like, so when you get enough of these variety of side swipes, you got yellow, black, red, white, you've almost got a Power Ranger squad. You're just short a pink one and a green one. So there's a part of me that would still, like, again, it doesn't even make sense character-wise. There's no green sideswipe. The closest you get is Shattered Glass, where he's like teal and gray. But like in fact, at Ross a couple years ago when Deep Cover, Clampdown, I've got a couple extras, and I hope to partner with a customizer one of these times and actually do a green one and a pink one, just so that I can make a Power Ranger squad. A Super Sentai Lambro Ranger, that kind of thing. Let's see. Back to the chat. Starry Quill, favorite colors help create a bias. It's one of the reasons I love Bomber. Megatron, like his alt mode, is great, but the colors are what drew me in. And I think that's a terrific point. And I don't think we talk about that enough. About, like, I think sometimes we are drawn to characters just because of the color that they are. Nathan, back in the chat, I think only the classic Seeker mold was used more than the Siege Lambo mold. Nathan, again, with Power Rangers Lambos, they would need to combine to form a Gestalt. Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. That's incredible. I love that. I'm going to go to bed tonight dreaming about that. That's, a sideswipe combiner, a Power Ranger combiner that turns into a Megazord. That'd be super cool. At this point, we have to say goodnight to Alex. Okay, I have to say bye. Getting late here. But Alex, thank you so much for hanging out with us in the chat. I really appreciate the insight, and you've really gotten the conversation going. So thank you so much, and you have a terrific evening, and hope to see you on another live stream in the future. And just to remind folks that are already out there, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or Twitch, you're welcome to join us here in the live chat as well. And thank you so much to everybody who has been hanging out with us so far. Okay, where did I leave off at? We were talking about I talked about my animated figures that I got. I got a Black Arachnia, and I got a Rekgar, and I got I got a mistransformed Jazz. So anyway, believe it or not, an hour and 45 minutes into the stream, haven't even talked about the the stuff I actually got at CybFest. I don't know how much of this stuff we're going to get to tonight, so buckle up. I've talked a lot about toys. I want to talk about as I'm moving stuff around here. Yeah, let's bring this guy out. So obviously coming off of picking up animated figures, I'm obviously on an animated kick. Having just recently completed Two Mikes Too Furious with Michael Andrews, where we've talked about the show one episode at a time from two different points of view. He's a serial rewatcher. I was a first time watcher. So if this is your first time joining me on Mike Seibert Radio podcast live stream, I had never watched Transformers Animated before that podcast project, and basically it was the goal was for me to watch animated and for me to start collecting animated toys, and Michael Andrews accomplished all of that. But anyway, so now I've started to dip into toys, but I'm also dipping into ancillary media as well. And from what I understand, there's things out there. There's comics, there's other stuff, but I picked this guy up. I got myself a Transformers animated jumbo activity book, which include games, mazes, puzzles, and more, and includes 3 Transformer cutouts on the back. Oh, which is this on the back. Lights, camera, action. Uh, Ask an adult to help you carefully remove each robot by cutting along the dashed lines. Use your Transformers cutouts to create an action scene or your very own. And it has cutouts of the Cyber Ninja Prowl, the scheming Starscream, and the incredibly traumatized Dr. Ratchet, the most traumatized character in all of Transformers. But yeah, no, I picked this up and I mean, it seems pretty basic. It's got coloring pages and other activities. I haven't really gotten it. It's got like, pinups that you could color in. It looks like it's got, word searches and some other neat, fun stuff. Maybe this will end up being um, podcast content in the future. I don't know. But regardless, I was glad I picked this up. There were a stack of these. And I remember talking to Abby, and I told her, I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I picked up this animated activity book," and I was telling her about the other ones. They had like an Energon one and some others of that era, and she was really excited. And we went over there, and oops, they unfortunately they were already gone. Starry Quill in the chat says there is also a how to draw book for animated. That would be a lot of fun. I wouldn't mind picking that up. And apparently, like again, I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of all of the various like kids stuff, but I think there's like choose your own adventure style books, other activity books, kind of like that, coloring books, how to draw books. So I think that would be a ton of fun. So so that was an animated thing. I picked up another animated thing that I uh uh picked up, and I picked it up in like literally. It was getting towards the end of the day. Um Otto was packing up and had some stuff he didn't want to take with him, and he wrote free. And he had like these little cars, had like 4 or 5 of them, including like I think like a movie Bumblebee one. Had a Supreme Class Cheetor from Beast Machines, the notoriously awful toy. I think it was in pieces. I don't know if it was complete, but anyway, he wrote free on it, and I just happened to be walking by. Hadn't seen Otto for years, and I was just like, I'm like, free, and he's like, yeah, take it, take it. So I pick up this Jazz, and it's a chubby child size vehicle. And I showed this to Michael Andrews last time we conferenced, and I don't know what it is. It has a button on the hood that doesn't do anything, but there's a spot on the bottom where it obviously takes batteries, and there's a switch on it. So I don't know if it's you pull it back and it goes, or if you just put batteries in it and you turn it on and it goes. I don't know exactly how it works, and I forgot to get batteries for chatting about this tonight. But the thing that it does have, and I mean, the paint's in pretty good shape, except for on the bumper here. If you'll see, like there's 2 little points, and you see that the paint is kind of wore off on them. Why would the paint be wore off on that and nowhere else? Because when you press on the bumper, ka-chow, Jazz pops up, and he's got he's brandishing his cyber nunchucks. I keep saying numchucks. They're nunchucks. I think I just got too much, whatever in my mouth. But anyway, his cyber chucks. So just a neat little thing that I picked up like on my way out, and that's the thing that's special about CybFest and our community of collectors here in the Pacific Northwest is that it's all about, friendship and love of the hobby and community. And so for Otto to just like, say like, I don't want to take these with me, take them. And just hand it to me, I thought was particularly nice. Starry Quill back in the chat. Maybe it was an RC car. Possibly. Actually, I'll be interested to see what happens once I put batteries in it. Because they have a Knockout and Bumble similar, meaning Bumblebee. I didn't catch that before you corrected it. Sorry. And it's funny because like, did Otto still have Knockout? No. No, it was a movie flavored Bumblebee. Like it was like maybe like an Age of Extinction Bumblebee. The one where like he's still a Camaro, but it's mostly black with like some yellow striping on it. Um I don't know my Bayverse stuff as much as I should. I want to talk about friendship a little more. And this year was the welcomed return of Mahalo Mike and his blind bags. Now, Mahalo Mike is a really cool dude. He's got like a Transformers themed Hawaiian shirt. Friendly, kind, good dude. A few years ago, he suffered a stroke, and still, even now, 3 years later, he's still fighting and working to heal. He can stand on his own in short bits, but not for very long. He gets around in a motorized wheelchair, and when that happened, it was hard. It was to see somebody so friendly and outgoing and just full of life and light was incredibly sad. So he obviously missed CybFest for a couple years. He came back last year as an attendee, and it was at Friday night before the show, that one of the rituals and work for the organization team is basically assembling everybody's name tag. It's like, because we have personalized badges for every attendee and dealer. And there was a little bit of like, we were trying to like call dibs on who was going to make Mike's badge for him. And so it was nice to see him return as an attendee. But he had in previous years had been incredibly generous with his collection at his dealer table, and basically would have blind bags and set prices for them at certain levels. And the figure that you would get in the blind bag would always exceed the amount that you paid for in value. And this year was the first time that he had returned as a dealer, as Mahalo Mike, with his blind bags. He had gone through his collection, had acquired some new stuff, and had a table which I hope somebody got a picture of it, because I unfortunately didn't, of his entire table just full of these blind bags, and he had, like, 3 different levels. I think they were, like, red, black, and green or what it doesn't matter, but, like, the higher priced ones went instantly, and then the mid-tier ones went instantly. I saw somebody, leaving CybFest with a big smile on their face. Total stranger, don't know the guy, but he's, like, got a bag, and he pulls out he's like, "I just got a Siege Jetfire out of a blind bag." And it just gave me, like, the warmest, smile because this guy was, like, so happy. Um, and it's just cool. It's just fun. It's community, it's friendship, it's people. And so Mike had reached out to me on Facebook, and we correspond from time to time, but he had mentioned, he's like, "Please stop by my table. I have something for you." And because of the way that I was managing my time, managing my day, um, I didn't get over there early, and then more time passed, and then more time passed, and I hadn't made it over. Um, to the point where, one of the organizers kinda pulled me aside very discreetly, very quietly, very polite. "Mike is waiting for you." And it just snapped my attention, right? I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I've been running around all day, visiting with people, buying stuff, going to lunch, doing this, that, and the other thing." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I hadn't gotten to see Mike yet." Like, I had seen him in passing as I'm, like, doing laps, but, he was always busy, like, because, I mean, again, his table was incredibly popular. So I roll up to him, greet him, um, not quite in a spot where I could, reach across the table and give him a hug or whatever, but, like, it was very nice to see Mike and to see him, so happy that people were so happy with the stuff that they were getting out of the blind bags. And I had intended to buy a blind bag, also, but then he's like, "Well, I have something for you." And he, he reaches out and, hands me a robot toy, and I'm gonna share that with you now. It is, um, Alternator's Rodimus. I think his name's Rodimus. I don't think he's Hot Rod. But, he's Alternator's Rodimus. I think he was a San Diego Comic-Con, exclusive. Um, it's kinda funny for a convention exclusive, this guy's kinda not rare. Like, I see a lot of them. But, but, despite what Mike has been going through, he he's got a sharp memory, and he remembers what people are into. And one of the things that he and I first bonded on was I was in a huge phase with alternators. And, like, I still think, like, alternators are kind of, like, weirdly forgotten about and don't really kinda get uh the love that they should. Not because they're terrific figures, because, like, um, I mean, this Rodimus is probably one of the better robot modes, whereas some are not super great. Others are phenomenal, like, like Hound is terrific, and, some of the others as well, but, like, Trax is pretty cool also, but, like, this was one of my gateways into, contemporary collecting, because, like, I wasn't collecting mainline, but I wanted to collect Transformers, because, like, I had just gotten the itch. And, alternators were cheap, and it's finite. It's a relatively small line. There's only, like, 21 figures and a couple variants, not counting Vinyl Tech. That's a whole different thing. And then, that rabbit hole will take you to some uncomfortable places because you will realize that there's a direct line from Tech to Kiss players, and the less said about that, the better. And it is upsetting how cool the actual figures are. I'm just like, but I want that deco, but I can't look for that. Like, it's cursed. It's cursed. But anyway, so he hands me this alternator's Rodimus, because he's like, and because speech is difficult for him, but he tells me, he's just like, I remember that you like alternators. So it was a lovely gift from a lovely person, and it it really means a lot. And because, like, even like um uh several years ago now, gosh, um it was, I don't know, 2018, 2019. It was the time that Mahalo Mike had his fireside chats. Like, this whole thing, I'm gonna set this guy down. But basically, like, he had, like, set up like a not a portable heater, because it was just like, kind of like those LED fireplaces, so it doesn't actually put out heat, it's just light. So he had like one of those and some like camping lanterns and stuff like that, and had put vintage toy catalogs on his table. And basically, like, and he had gloves for you to be able to browse and look through the vintage catalogs. And it was just this great kitschy fun thing. The reason why I tell that story is because at that point he gifted me a Tech Overdrive. I think it was Overdrive, not Override. But basically, it's the wind charger mold. But in Tech, there's a plastic piece that attaches underneath the drivetrain. That's basically this long pipe that becomes a sniper rifle. And for alternators for Hasbro for America, they're like, this character can't have a lengthy sniper rifle, so it just has like the engine that turns into a gun, and it's really, really dumb and silly. But Mike knew that I was into that line, and he knew the significance of that figure. So that again, it just warmed my heart, and again, it just kind of just made me feel especially good that like Starry Cool mentioned in the comments, it's very sweet that he remembered. But yeah, no, it's just made me very happy. So anyway, so I'm there at the table. I've received this generous gift, but I gotta buy something from him, right? So I love the blind boxes. He had a bunch of green ones left, and the rules of Mahalo Mike's blind boxes, or blind bags, I think I keep calling them boxes, blind bags, is like, you can look, with your eyes, you cannot look with your hands. So you can't pick up a bag and feel the weight or look at it. So you just kind of have to feel it out. So I look, and I'm just like, and I had helped a couple folks. My friend Trish, also from Swerve's Bar, came over, and she's like, "Hey, Mike, help me find a couple blind bags." And I kid you not, this is the most Mike Seibert story. So I'm helping Trish. I'm just like, that one. She picks it up, and what does she pull out of her blind bag? Classic Sideswipe. I kid you not. And like, so she pulls it out, it's Sideswipe, and she's like, "Oh, hey, it's your guy." And I'm like, "Yeah, Sideswipe, yay." I didn't want to. I'm like, I don't collect the classics mold. I don't collect any other Sideswipe other than the contemporary, Siege, Earthrise, Kingdom, War for Cybertron, now Legacy, now Age of the Primes, whatever the heck we're up to now. But like, I mean, I thought it was dope that she pulled that figure. But anyway, so I get my blind bag, and I'm like, what do I got? What blind bag fun does Mahalo Mike have for me? And I pull out Generations Whirl. Um, it's a figure I don't have, and it's not one that I would get for my collection. I like Whirl just fine. Well, I like Whirl the person very much. They are one of my favorite people. But in terms of like character, um, they're fine. Very cool. Especially in the More Than Meets the Eye comics from IDW, where basically Whirl is characterized as essentially Deadpool, more or less. So I think it's a really fun characterization. I think this is a really terrific representation of that figure. But for me, this figure doesn't represent a character or a iteration or a representation of whatever. It doesn't matter. It means friendship. And this is, symbolic of, the generosity that Mahalo Mike does. And so I don't know the value of this figure. I don't know if he's rare, or if he's more common. None of that matters. It doesn't matter. But like, no, I think it's, he's gonna look great in my mismatched weirdo shelf. um, but yeah, no, I think it's terrific that Mike was able to come back to CybFest and have such a terrific response to his table and what he was doing. Um, I don't know if Nathan's still out there watching in the chat, but he had a terrific day as well. Liquidated a lot of his collection, got rid of a bunch of Titans, and there was more than a couple times where I'm just like, oh, do I need any of that stuff? And unfortunately, I did not. I think there was like a masterpiece Silver Streak that I was looking at. I'm like, I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. So like, but anyway, so that was cool. Let me move on to some other stuff because I do have some more stuff, and I probably should kind of hit the jets a little bit because we've been going for 2 hours, and there's a lot of stuff left on the table here. Just off stage here, I was able to pick up a copy of this year's uh, CybFest exclusive figure. I got myself Condor, which is the new figure from Blue Forge. This is an all new mold, a new representation of Cybertronian Laserbeak. And I'm showing you the outside box here. Basically, it's got a nice, handsome little box there, label with chromed out reflective label with a sticker on the back that talks about what it is. It's basically Cybertronian Laserbeak, and he can interact with other cassette allies, and with a warning that Recorder Man and other cassette allies are sold separately. But this entire thing is cool. I am so proud of the work that Alex Gobb has been doing with Blue Forge. Like, I mean, Carbot Darcy last year was incredible. So much so to where Hasbro said, "Hey, you know what? Now we're going to do Missing Link RC because Blue Forge did it for CybFest." That's the story I would like to go with, because the year before he does Generation Zero Wheelless Jack, which is basically like a Bumblebee Origins style, mini bot style take on Cybertronian Wheeljack. Next thing you know, there's a Voyager class Cybertronian Wheeljack that Bumblebee can fit inside. I'm not saying that John Hasbro attends CybFest, but I don't know that he doesn't either. So anyway, let's take a look inside this box here, because I've consistently complimented Alex on his packaging. Statics, vibes. He just gets it right. I mean, like, Dude is a toy designer from like top to bottom. But anyway, so like you open up the box here at the top, and inside you will see the cassette sitting inside a tray. In this case, there's still a plastic binder holding Condor still in the tray there. But as you can see some of the details from there. I'm not gonna undo all this and take it out tonight, but that kind of gives you an idea of how he scales. Basically, this is G1 cassette scale. He will fit in Soundwave and Blaster and any of your other um, Recorder Man boombox figures. He also comes with a couple accessories. These are basically um, one is a perch that you can use to interact with any character with the 5 millimeter port, to interact with other cassette allies and recorder men. But then also it has a connector piece so that basically Condor can become a jetpack for Laserbeak. So it just combines and it looks super cool. Also inside the box is a sticker sheet. And as you can see, it's a highly reflective. It is in the style of Laserbeak, but also has a number of CybFest emblem logo stickers as well. So very, very, very cool on that. But the thing that, you know, I've said of Alex's work with Blue Forge many, many times that I'm just impressed by his attention to detail, and the thing that just gets me is he included an instruction book. So it's got Condor on there, and then as you unfold it, you know, it's very G1 style and vibe and aesthetic, very similar to Darcy. And so anyway, so that all goes back in the box. Um, from what I understand, these almost entirely sold out. There are some left that will be, from what I understand, reallocated for a future project that I cannot talk about. So anyway, so that's a Condor, yet another successful exclusive figure for CybFest Northwest from Alex and Blue Forge. Speaking of Blue Forge, let me get rid of this comment there. Alex has also printed out a series of stickers. And I love stickers, but I never stick them on anything. So like I have like a cork board in my studio room at home where basically what I've done is I've taken like thumbtacks and I've like stuck sticker, like not pierced it, but just kind of like propped them up. But anyway, he's got a few different stickers. Here is Carbot Darcy. Again, a representation of the art of the exclusive figure from last year. Note the glittery chrome there. Also got a prism foil G1 style cassette. I've also got regular Darcy, no silver foil or no glitter foil on this one. Just shows off the art there. A logo sticker for Condor, and Alex has done all of this stuff with help from Steve as well. It was very much like a collaborative thing. I don't know who did what on the art, but like basically like by their powers combined, they've really birthed this Condor project into being. There's another sticker here for, again, the aforementioned Generation Zero wheelless jack. And then finally, just a logo Blue Forge sticker. So Glad to add all of those to my board. These are incredibly fun, and I'm glad to support Alex in all of his stuff. Um, yeah, fun stuff there. Let's see. I'm looking at the table and let's talk about some more friendship. This will be very brief because I don't remember which one is which. But um Magnus von Braun, the proprietor of Atomic Mariachi Robot, in addition to um having terrific items to sell, a lot of vintage stuff, a lot of new stuff, all at incredible deals. Um, much like Mahalo Mike, Renee is one of like the nicest, sweetest, most genuine people I walking this earth. Just a sweet dude. But like a couple years ago, he started making hot sauce for CybFest. It became like the unofficial hot sauce of CybFest Northwest. And he gifted me 2 jars of 2 sauces that he worked on for this year. And he told me, and I didn't write it down, so I don't remember which sauce is which, but these are, um, I'm told that they would be really good on eggs for like omelets and, adding those kinds of like little extra kick to your breakfast, that type of thing. So I was grateful to be gifted those. Um, Chandler picked up quite a number of things off his table. He got hooked up with a Walmart reissue Soundwave and some cassettes, some good stuff there. Speaking of Condor, I had mentioned that we had a number of artists, like the Artist Alley was popping. Ashley Artley had some terrific new prints. And Your Guiding X had awesome buttons or pins. Really, really cool stuff. Great stuff from Ben Hansen as usual. But I had to pick up this piece of art by Reno Varka, who was on our dealer spotlight live stream, and it's a representation of Condor alongside G1 Laserbeak, and it's a terrific representation of her style. It's a lot of fun, and I really like this piece, and I think it's a fun compliment to the Condor figure. But I also got some stickers as well, and I got what do I got in here? I have um an Orange Crush Jazz. Actually, he's very orange. He's an orange jazz. I got an alternators shockwave, laser wave, and then a particularly grumpy look at Ultra Magnus. So some fun stickers there and some fun, terrific art. I probably should have thought to do some of this stuff in order, but I think I got a handle on what I'm gonna do next. Let's go back to animated and oh, there it is. I've been looking on my table here, and like I've got like I can't spin my camera around because it's stuck on top of the screen there. But there was a piece I wanted to show off that that I couldn't see, and that was kind of like rattling me a little bit. But going back into animated, as I said, I'm firmly entrenched in a phase, and I I'm so thankful and grateful that I'm almost embarrassed to show this off. So I'm just going to show it off and go from there. I now have animated RC, and She is still, in the box. The card and the box have seen better days, but, yeah, and Toys R Us exclusive. So I'm very, grateful to have this in my collection. This was a gift from, um from Ricardo, Ricardo Cruz Gomez. And I so I roll up to his table, and he's basically selling his collection. And, been to CybFest as a fan a number of times. He and I have hung out a couple times. You've been to Cybertronic Spree together. I've missed his Rum Runner party twice. But very cool dude. And, um, his collection that he was selling was predominantly masterpiece and third party masterpiece style. So just some magnificent pieces. Like, he had like a Fans Toy Springer. He had like a swoop with like these giant chromed out wings. Just some spectacular, magnificent figures. And I'm looking around, and I'm just chatting him up. "Oh, you having a good show so far?" He's like, "Oh yeah, and stuff is moving." And it was, it was a great time. And I look on the floor, basically like in a pile with a bunch of other stuff, and he had like some empty boxes for the masterpiece figures. And I see the flash of the Transformers animated logo on the card here, and I pick it up, and I see it's RC, and I'm like, "Whoa!" Just carded RC, just sitting here. And I look around for a price. I don't see a sticker. And I ask him, I'm like, "Well, how much?" And he looks at me, and he's like, "It's yours." And Chandler was there with me, so he would probably be able to corroborate this better than I can. But like, I just like stopped. I'm just like, I was like in disbelief. I'm just like, "No, come on." I mean, it's like, I gotta give you something, because again, I don't want to talk about like, numbers and things like that, but I know that especially being a Toys R Us exclusive, this is a sought after figure, and it's, incredibly collectible. I would imagine it's, it again, I don't know what it goes for. I know what I saw it for on a different dealer's table. And I think that price was higher than maybe what the value is. But regardless, um, he just gives it to me. And he's like, "No, it's you. You know, maybe give me a shout out." That kind of thing. But like, it was just, it, it's it melts my heart. It just that feeling of community, that this guy that's part of my community just gives me a figure that is worth, could be triple digits. And again, I don't want to necessarily minimize the gift by talking about numbers or whatever, but like, I know the significance of this. Um and so now I'm in a spot, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what do I do with it?" It's like, cuz like, with my animated collection, I'm not trying to pick up stuff on card. Like, so I was telling you earlier about Michael Andrews, and like, I keep looking for a animated Snarl for him, and I keep finding it on card at what I think is a reasonable price. I feel like I'm just going to buy it and open it. But like, but this, I I can't open this. Like, I feel like I have to display it as is. I mean, very similar to my my whirl that I got out of the Mahalo Mike blind bag. You know, it's just like I think like that's the significance of these things is that they are as they are. I'll give it some thought. Um, but like, like she's so cool. Like, that is, yeah, RC is awesome in the show, and this figure appears to be a terrific representation. I love the artwork. I like everything about this, but um, for Ricardo to just simply gift it to me is just I'm beyond words. Just overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed in front of him, and I felt bad because, like, very similar to, Mahalo Mike, like, it's like I bought a blind bag from him. Um, Unfortunately, the things on, Ricardo's table, a little out of my budget, and, um, like I was telling Travis, who was over there, like both of them were trying to, like, really hard sell me on getting into Masterpiece and getting into third-party Masterpiece, and I can't. I just can't. I I like I like my mainline stuff. It's my speed. I like my alternators. I like my stuff. I like my collection as it is. Because yeah, I feel like if I get into Masterpiece and third party Masterpiece, there'll be no going back. And whew, it's already difficult enough. Especially since I'm collecting multiple lines. But anyway, so I had to I had to show that off. That's um again just an incredible gift, and I'm so damn grateful for this this community and for the friendship. And there are times I get kind of like imposter syndrome about it. It's like, well, do I put in what I give out? Yeah, or get out of it, that kind of thing. It's like I don't want to be a taker. I want to be a giver. And so I like to hope that doing stuff like these types of shows, these live streams, the dealer spotlights and chatting with the organization team and really trying to um try to get people to come to CybFest and, kind of like, spread the gospel for lack of better term. And talking about how important the community is to me. It's about people and it's about community. But anyway, so I do have a few more things I would like to show off. And yeah, let's get into some fun stuff. So basically, um, so I mentioned that I'm kind of on this animated kick, and I during a previous live stream, the dealer spotlight show, one of our guests was Kenneth from Rekgar's Junk Emporium, and he showed off a number of customs that he was working on and that he was getting ready to sell at CybFest. And he does he's licensed to do Fun Bee Studio stuff. So we got to talking on the live stream, and um first I will present a a figure that I never thought I needed or wanted, but the ultimate meme character for Two Mikes, Two Furious podcast, talking about Transformers Animated. When we get to the last couple episodes where we're spending a lot of time on Cybertron, and in there, Derek J. Wyatt sneaks in a bunch of Japanese exclusive characters. Actually, I think like the first time we encounter this guy is like in Five Servos of Doom, where it's like it's Prowl's origin story, and you learn about the Cyber Ninja Corps, and all of that. But there was a character that I did not believe was real because my knowledge of Japanese G1 is pretty spotty. Like I know who Star Convoy is, but like I know the name Grandis. I kind of know who he is. Um, but there was another member of that Return of Convoy group, a guy who's I still can't believe that it's his name. I learned about the legend of Sky Gary. Sky Gary in the World of Tomorrow. That's got to be like a Two Mics Two Furious button that we do at some point. But during this live stream, Kenneth shows off one of the customs that he's working on, just like as if he's just, talking about his stuff. And he pulls out a Sky Gary custom. I think this guy started off life as either Hot Shot or Hot Spot. I don't remember which. He's Hot something. Um, Actually looking at it at his back here, that might be fire truck adjacent stuff. This guy might have been Hotspot. But anyway, he's been between 3D printing and painting and customizing. It's Sky Gary. And Kenneth pulls this out and I go nuts. I'm like, Sky Gary. And Whirl, who was on the stream with me as well, dude, it's Sky Gary. It's your favorite character. He's not my favorite character, but like, I just so latched on to the ridiculousness of this guy's name, Sky Gary. Like, is he related to Land Larry? That kind of thing. But then I started learning more about him, and I love this color scheme. Like, he's like kind of Star Saber adjacent, but not quite. But like, I love this kind of like almost like Gundam motif where it's a lot of white, a lot of blue, a lot of red with like some hits of gold. This character is very cool. And I'm eager to put him on my animated shelf so that people are like, what is that? I'm like, well, that's Sky Gary. What's a Sky Gary? That kind of thing. So he is super cool. He also comes with a whole sack of stuff that I don't entirely know what it is. One, he has like, this huge Herkin sword, big heckin' sword. Again, 3D printed, painted, looks very, very cool. But then he's also got like these. Oh, Kenneth explained to me what they are, but like, so I don't know if these are like, Voltron feet or whatever, but apparently these are like, pieces that you graft onto him. Because I guess so. Basically, these Return of Convoy characters, like including like Sky Gary and Grandis and Star Convoy himself, they're basically they're Micromaster bases. So it's like they're giant bricks of robots, but they also have like a base mode, and they have like all these ramps and pulleys and all these other things that it's designed to interact with Micromasters. But anyway, so I don't know what these pieces are. I need to do some more research. There's like another thing with like some treads on it. And again, he's got like a big sword. I don't know, but I don't care because now I could just point to and say like, now I have Sky Gary. So I don't know if they're ever going to do this character like in Age of the Primes or whatever, but like, oh, he's got a little, oh, that's his, I thought I broke it for a sec. No, he's got a ratchet joint in his shoulder. That's kind of neat. Anyway, this figure's very cool. I'm glad I have it. So now I could talk about Sky Gary in the World of Tomorrow. Speaking of, knocked his head clean off with hitting the microphone here. The thing also I have to keep in mind with these, customs, they are incredibly fragile. So I gotta be real careful with this dude, as opposed to, like, my animated Wreck-Gar that I feel like I can throw down a flight of stairs and he'll be just fine. That is a sturdy ass action figure. Anyway, speaking of, um, Kenneth and Wreck-Gar's Junk Emporium and animated, I'm gonna tell you a story after I take a swig of water here. Stay hydrated, friends. Whether you're live streaming yourself or if you're watching a live stream. So if you're hanging out with me, maybe take a sip of water also. I don't know. Um, I talked about a figure that I was going to buy within the lot of Wreck-Gar and Jazz and Black Arachnia, but there was a figure that that I wanted, he didn't have, that he um sold out of, or sold before I got to it. And it's specifically for an item that Kenneth, geez, had already talked about on the CybFest dealer spotlight live stream. I think he had already revealed Sky Gary, or maybe I'm getting it backwards. It doesn't particularly matter, but Sky Gary wasn't the only thing that I bought from Wreck-Gar's Junk Emporium. I also got another 3D printed thing, not a figure. I have here a a transwarp generator from the iconic episode featuring Black Arachnia of Transformers Animated Predacons Rising, aka the one where Black Arachnia befriends and takes advantage of the fugitive Wasp and turns him, spoilers, into a new character, Waspinator. Now, let me demonstrate a little bit of what I've got going on here. First of all, as part of this set, I don't think the this is a I don't know how to describe it. I don't know the world of 3D printing, so I don't want to get my terminology wrong, but it's the pattern is from developed by Fun V Studios, and Kenneth has a license to print their stuff. So I see this. He shows it off on the live stream, and I'm like, I will buy that from you. And sure enough, he printed one up and had it available for me. So basically, it's the transwarp generator as seen in the episode. There is a control panel. I'm not going to be able to do this sustained for long, but I think I could set up. Oh, that looks okay. I could set up Black Arachnia at the control panel. And then in this little guy here, there's kind of like a Frankenstein style type of thing where, as you could see, captive is fugitive Waspinator. Man, that figure is so cool. I'm going to move these items. Actually, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the transwarp generator and move this off to the side. I love how I'm just litigating this in real time. I will set you guys off to the side and show off the transwarp generator a little more. So basically, it looks like right out of David Cronenberg's The Fly. So this has been 3D printed and painted by Kenneth. I might end up getting some toy hack stickers to kind of like zhuzh it up a little bit. But this thing is so cool, and like it scales perfectly with the figures. and I'm gonna be very careful here, but there is a feature where you can oh, it is gonna work. Great. You can crank it on top and open the transwarp generator and spin it around. Oh, that's painted on the inside, and spin it around so the door can close again. I really wanna be careful with this because I don't wanna, like, yerk on it so hard that it breaks. But basically, while the door is open on the transwarp generator, you take your fugitive waspinator, and he fits right in there. It's like, "Oh, no, spider lady, why do this to Wasp? What did Wasp ever do to you?" And then she's like, "Shut up. You can't make a omelet without breaking some eggs." And then the you spin it, the door closes, the transwarp generates, and then you open it up. And well, in this case, uh Wasp is still inside, unconverted. But this goes back to a story I started telling an hour and a half ago. In this lot of toys that this Christopher Young guy had, he had animated Waspinator, and he had him for as reasonable price as Black Arachnia and Jazz and Retgar. And so I messaged him like as soon as I saw the post, like impulse buy. And he's like, "Nope, sorry, Waspinator is gone." Because I already had Wasp, and I knew I was getting the transwarp generator, and he has Black Arachnia, and I'm like, "Oh man, now I just need Waspinator to, you know, do the conversion." And so yeah, so now I collect dioramas, I guess. But like this scene is so pivotal in that episode of Animated that, like, I don't know, it just really caught my eye. I've never wanted to be interested in like diorama stuff before, but like this whole thing, like this whole set, and with the way that the figures scale in it, it's just like, oh my goodness, this is special. This is like, iconic and stuff. So I was really happy to get that. Unfortunately, I did not find a animated Waspinator at CybFest, and so far my online searching has come up short. The ones that I have found, little out of my price range. So the search continues. If you or somebody you know has a line on a animated Waspinator, let me know. Um, so that's that's all the stuff that I got uh from Retgar's Junk Emporium. I'm actually gonna take a sec and put this off to the side just so that I don't accidentally knock it over. Because that would be that would be disastrous. Because again, much like Sky Gary, I feel like that dial only has a few turns on it, and if I turn it too many times, it might break. Now, Kenneth told me if I break it, he could just print me up a new one, but I would prefer to not break it. Couple last things I would like to show off. I did have the opportunity to I'm reluctant to say meet, but I would say hang out with Frank Dodaro. I've met Frank a number of times. I've met him at TF Cons, and I've hung out with him after hours at the poolside bar at TF Con LA at the Marriott there. Like that is a whole damn scene. Like that is those have been some of my funnest convention memories, is just like hanging out at this outdoor bar in Los Angeles after a full day of conventioning. It's so fun. There's nothing like it. So I've met Frank before, because like he is in addition to being incredibly talented, he's also very accessible and approachable and very easy to talk to. Fun guy. And again, his aesthetic is just like I just appreciate his commitment to the bit. Like, even when he was at CybFest, he had a nice blazer on and, Decepticon symbol enamel pins upside down for toy accuracy, which I thought was, very cool. But Frank is like a really nice, sweet guy. But so, I roll up to him, introduce myself, we chat for he's like, "Oh, yeah, we've met before." Um I had the, Swerves Bar folks, um, uh well, no, it was Trish and Whirl's wife, I believe. I think I got it from, like, a couple different folks. "How come you haven't had Frank on your podcast yet?" And I'm like, "I don't know, I guess I just haven't." So coming soon in the future, I will be coordinating with Frank Todaro, and we'll do something here on Mike Cyber Radio. But I did get a signed photo from Frank, and here is it's a picture of Starscream from the Netflix War for Cybertron Siege show where he voices Starscream. And it's so funny because, like, I roll up to him and I was like, "Well, can I get this one, please?" And I, hand him the picture for him to autograph. He does like a little doodle and an autograph. He asked me if I would like to personalize it. He says yes. So he puts "Hey Mike," but I as I'm telling him, and I'm almost bashful, and I'm telling him, I'm like, also, would you mind? Could you inscribe "I can fly" on that? And I go on this whole thing where I tell him what that line of dialogue means, what it means to me, what it means to the fandom, and, like, how it's like so iconic. And here's the deal. I am not a huge fan of the Netflix War for Cybertron trilogy series, Siege, Earthrise, and Kingdom. There are things that I like, um, and Frank Todaro as Starscream is definitely a bright spot and is definitely one of my favorite things in that show. But, like, there's this scene towards the end, and kind of like a climactic confrontation between Megatron and Starscream. And in this continuity, in this story, the relationship is incredibly abusive. Megatron is just he is one of the most depictions of abuse towards Starscream. I think in over most continuities. But, like, there's this confrontation where, like, Starscream has got cursed knowledge. He knows what's on the golden disc. He knows that Unicron is coming, and that what Megatron's fate is, and all this other stuff. But because he's Starscream, he's like delusional, and he started to, like, lose his mind. And he's come across as crazed and insane, and nobody believes him. And um there th- this confrontation comes to a head where Megatron, tells Starscream that he's useless, that, he's worthless. He can't do anything. And it's a thing where, like, I think they are on top of the Autobot arc as it's transforming, I think. But it's a thing where, like, Megatron's stuck. Like, he turns into a tank. That's his thing. And he is a weapon, but he's also a tank. Anyway, Starscream's response to Megatron saying, like, you're useless, you're nothing. And he's like, and I'm not trying to do the voice. I can't. I mean, like, Frank nails it so perfectly, but he's like, "I can fly." And he just kind of like jumps off the back, flip transforms into jet mode and leaves Megatron to die, basically. And it's so great because like even as I asked Frank to inscribe this, he's like, and I'm explaining it, and he's like, well, he's confronting his abuser. He's reckoning with his abuser. And so for Frank to like, clue into that, I thought was cool. And we had a great conversation and, talked about how powerful the line is. And what's funny though is this is incredibly special to me. I like the inscription. I like the doodle. I like the autograph. Like this is I can't wait to like, put this in a nice frame and display it. But I thought that perhaps that notion was unique. That like I was bringing up something not important. No, I stick with unique. I thought it was something personal to me. And like, and he shared in that. Just about every one of these that I saw come off of Frank's table and some other Starscream. Actually, I think every Starscream autograph that I saw, whether it was on a toy, an action figure, a box, a poster, I think he wrote "I can fly" on all of them. So it's kind of one of those things where, I mean, it's not deflating, but there was a little bit of like, oh, maybe I'm not as special as I thought. It's like, I thought it was something. I'm like, Frank, could you, it would mean a lot to me if you inscribe on "I can fly." This is what this means to me. And he's like, yeah, sure, and had a great conversation, but it's just so funny. It's like throughout the entire show, I just like "I could fly" was everywhere. Everybody could fly. So anyway, I just thought that cracked me up. Let's go back to the chat. Starry Quill is still hanging out. I had some great finds myself at the con. RAD 2001 Prowl and Skybite, both I had been on the hunt for quite some time. That's awesome. Congratulations on filling those spots in your collection. You'll find all kinds of cool stuff at CybFest. And the thing that's funny too, I've made jokes about this, is that if you don't see something or like you feel like you missed something, wait, because a lot of it just changes hands. Like, I think there's stuff that I have sold that has gone back onto other people's tables and vice versa. It's pretty funny. That's the cool part about being in a close-knit community, is that, yeah, it's like, oh, wait, where did that go? Did that ever come back? That kind of thing. Last couple things I want to show you. And this was initially meant to be a segue into other topics, but now looking at the time, I think I'll just finish my show and tell, and maybe we'll just call it a day. But I had mentioned earlier about the charity silent auction that World put together with Code Ninjas and Extra Life benefiting Seattle Children's, and that was Jake, who had the winning bid of almost $1,000, JB Toys. And there was some discourse in the Facebook group about pricing and about pricing of certain toys. Apparently somebody had some scalper prices and kind of got flamed for it in a I think it was in bot posting. I don't remember. It may have just been the discussion group. I don't remember. But anyway, like I had seen. Yeah, I'll show it this way. Okay, so the item in question was a Studio Series 86 Commander Class Optimus Prime, and somebody in this group was selling it for like 150. That's scalper territory, I think. But Jake had posted that JB Toys would have Studio Series 86 Optimus Primes for, as they said, just above retail. And I'm like, cool. I'm in the market for that figure. I've not been able to find it. I didn't pre-order it because again, I'm trying to be off pre-orders, except when they're side swipes. I don't even know how or why I do things. But anyway, Jake had no fewer than 6 different Studio Series 86 Optimuses, and he was selling them for basically retail. I mean, like the price that would be retail plus sales tax, I guess, if you want to call it that. But I didn't have to pay shipping for it. I didn't have to go hunting in the store, and I got them for retail, and I'm very happy. So I commented on his post. I'm like, you're the first booth I'm going to go see. I didn't quite make it there first, but I got there close to first. But anyway, I'm super happy I got this. And the thing that I was going to segue into, there was a version of this. Maybe I'll talk about this on Thursday. But like part of the reason why I like this, why I want this, is one, because it's Studio Series 86, and I'm mostly line complete on that. I love the artwork. And if you've been hanging out with me for the last 10 years, you know what Transformers the movie means to me. And you know what this scene means to me. And you know what this pose means to me, the jump. You know, I'm always talking about, the jump this, the jump that, every, figure needs to do the jump, 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 jump. Crisscross will make you jump, jump. The Mac Dad will make you jump, jump. Daddy Mac will make you jump, jump. Anyway, Optimus Prime will make you jump, jump. The depiction of the artwork by the incredible, talented Marcelo Mater. Like I need this box set just for this. I don't know if I'll even open this, honestly. Like I kind of don't care what's in here. I just want the box, which is so funny because like I wonder if I could just buy an empty box from somebody and then just display it that way. I never thought of it that way. But anyway, I'm super glad I got this, or finally got it, because I've missed it a few times. But the thing I was going to transition into that we might talk about on Thursday is what is going on with the Studio Series 86 line. I'll talk about how they, because of this release, I believe that's why they stopped numbering these. This box set is let me see if I can put that up there. There you go. Number 31. You know who else is number 31? Galvatron. They put out 2 figures with the same number. So that's frustrating. So, and I believe those are the last figures that are numbered. So, I have thoughts and feelings relating to packaging for Studio Series 86. I'll unpack that on a different day. Because now suddenly after San Diego Comic-Con, my enthusiasm for Studio Series 86 has kind of been reinvigorated. Like I don't have any of the Constructicons. There was a time where I didn't know if I was going to get them because I don't like the boxes. Like, and again, if you know me, you know I have hangups on boxes. I'm a box collector. But mismatched boxes really bothers me. And the Studio Series 86 ongoing packaging changes really bothers me and really bothers my collection. But anyway, that's for a different time. But seeing Windcharger and Thundercracker, especially knowing that Thundercracker is going to be a new mold and that they're going to do the other Seekers as well. Shoot, they may even get to Coneheads. I don't know. But I can unpack that. I can unpack that later. So I was mentioning I was at JB Toys and I knew I was going to buy this. But then I mean, Jake has got the best stuff. His table always rocks. But then I'm looking around and I see this guy sitting there. Yeah, just a old laser prime. Just kind of sitting there, with his sword and his shield and his trailer. I left those at home. He's complete. Um, but I have discovered, now let's go back a couple hours. I've talked about a side tangent. I don't know, I don't know how to describe my collection. Maybe somebody who is a more experienced collector could articulate this better than I can, but, like, I have an affinity for collecting multiples of the same mold. Again, see my Sideswipe collection. Variations of the same mold. Um, I have no attachment to G2, squirt gun laser prime or whatever this guy is supposed to be. But I now have 4 versions of this mold. I have Toxitron, I have RID 2001 Scourge, and just last week or week before last, I picked up Target Optimus Prime, which is this laser prime mold. So I'm like, well, I've got 3 of them. I may as well get the 4th one. So now I got laser prime. I think one of the Takara Godzilla ones is this mold also. And that's going to be a hard conversation because I don't think I want that figure. But now I've decided that now I'm collecting the laser prime mold because I got so many of them in my armada of mismatched weirdos. You know, my wife, which means me, we watch a lot of HGTV, a little DIY network, maybe some Magnolia network, a lot of like DIY house stuff. And a lot of it is like, oh no, my interior decorating is all over the road. I need somebody to like kind of I wish there was some kind of program for people's out of control collections because my collection is out of control. I'm not even going to mention in this recording that I also collect G.I. Joe Classified series, and that collection is a mess as well. Why do I got 4 of this guy? Because he's kind of cool. I like that he's got like giant speakers for shoulders. And the robot mode is pretty cool, and the truck mode is pretty cool. This is a fun ass figure, but I wouldn't have got it unless I got 3 other ones, and I got. And it's always because it's connected to something else. I got Toxitron because I got the other ones. I got Scourge because I picked him up at Ross. I picked up Target Optimus because he was on sale. Like he went clearance. Plus I had like, Circle Deal. So basically got him for like half off. This guy I picked up for a very good price from Jake. But like I like that he's got like, some like, movieverse esque flames. It's a fun ass figure. I like him. And then the last thing I got from Jake is Studio Series Steeljaw. The core RIP core class. Don't even get me started on cassettes. And again, maybe I'll talk about this on Thursday because I think my Perceptor just shipped. So now you have, what is it? You have Steeljaw who's loose. But to get the rest, okay, let me see if I got this right. Okay, so to get Blaster's cassettes, you have to buy Studio Series 86 Blaster, who comes with Eject, the blue one. Yeah, the blue boy. So you have to buy Studio Series 86 Blaster to get Eject. To get Rewind, you had to have bought Legacy Twin Cast. Because that's where you get Rewind, the black cassette, the robot. Then to get Steeljaw, you got to get it in a discontinued core class. And then to get Ramhorn, you have to buy Perceptor. And then when you buy Perceptor, you get Rat Bat also. So, like, what are they going to do when they do leader class Soundwave in Studio Series 86? There's a rumor that it's a new mold. Which cassettes is he going to come with? Which ones isn't he? You got Rumble and Frenzy, both the red one and the blue one, in separate core class packaging, very similar to Steeljaw here. But then you have Rat Bat stuck with Perceptor, which hot take, I kind of don't mind that in a weird kind of way, because I feel like Rat Bat is an exclusive 1980 or 86 movie character, because that's where he debuted. And I think he belongs in that scene with Perceptor and Blaster. Now, why Perceptor needs two cassettes, I don't know. That's neither here nor there, but like, I like that Rat Bat is released in some kind of Studio Series 86 form. But yeah, so when you do leader class Soundwave, what does he come with? With Laserbeak and Ravage? He can't come with Buzzsaw because Buzzsaw's not in the movie. In fact, see, now if I was doing this, now granted, I don't run a toy company and I don't know nothing about nothing, but like, at a time where if Rumble and Frenzy had not already come out, what I would do is package Soundwave with Rumble, Frenzy, Ravage, and Rat Bat. And you put a backdrop for the communications tower, because that's how the scene goes in the movie. Megatron is like, jam that transmission, and then Soundwave deploys the cassettes in that order. Rumble, Frenzy, Ravage, Rat Bat, eject, Operation Interference. In fact, it would be cool if like there was a call out on the box, for 86 Soundwave, something relating to Operation Interference. That'd be kind of cool. But that doesn't make sense to anybody except for me. So, but you have to have Laserbeak in Studio Series 86, because he's also in the movie. So it's a hard one. Starry Quill in the chat says, maybe it's a reference to Percy's Power of the Primes toy, which comes with Ramhorn. I didn't even think of that. That's an elegant solution to that. I spaced out about that. So that is kind of like a cool reverse call back, call forward type of thing. But yeah, I think I'll collect my thoughts a little more and maybe get some slides. And in addition to the movies, I think I'll kind of get more into the whole vibe and aesthetic of Studio Series 86 and what I think's working and what's not working. And because I mean, Netflix Deep Cover started it, but having an entire subline dedicated to the 86 movie is what really got me into mainline collecting. And there were times where I was going to collect Studio Series 86 only. And then Kingdom Cyclonus came out. And then like Quintessons came out. Actually, now, and I'll talk about this on Thursday. It's the Quintesson Pit of Judgment. That starts all of this. And that may or may not have even been before Netflix Deep Cover. I really got to go back and like look at like old pictures and stuff, see if I can figure out some of this chronology because I feel like I'm getting a lot of stuff out of order, but I think we will leave it there for now. Thank you everybody for hanging out with me and for being so active in the chat. Shout out to Starry Quill and Alex and Nathan and J Soups, Josh, and Nathan again. Because he was on Facebook and on YouTube. That's what was going on there. And of course, Michael Andrews for popping in. That was a lot of fun. And I'm scrolling back through the chat and I missed this from earlier. From Super Gamer and Plus Show. Hi, Mike. Hi, like you logo style. Hi, like you logo style. Me too. That logo is again done by my good friend Andy. He is at GoGo Andy Robo on Blue Sky. He's no longer on Twitter, and but anyway, his art is incredible. You should check it out. Stay tuned Thursday for the return of the Mike Seibert Radio podcast live stream, where I will be talking about Superman and the Fantastic Four, and now apparently Studio Series 86 as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Coming up in the future, myself and Michael Andrews will be back on Autopod Decepticast talking about Coming of the Fusers, the season 2 episodes of Beast Wars. But yeah, again, thanks for hanging out. That will wrap things up for this episode. Thank you so much for listening and for hanging out. If you want more Mike Seibert Radio, be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And for even more Transformers content and excitement, check out our other show, Two Mikes, Two Furious Animated Transformers, where Michael Andrews and I used to review Transformers Animated one episode at a time. We've now completed that project, but as I've said before, we may be done with animated, but it turns out animated might not be done with us yet. Stay tuned. Like, share, rate, and review the show. Let us know what you like and what you'd like to hear more of in the future. My name is Mike. I forgot my name for a sec. My name is Mike. This has been Mike Seibert Radio. And until next time, till all are one, make good choices. And good night. And thank you for watching.